Elon Musk just got $29 billion. Not for building something, just for staying. Last night, while most of the world slept, a small group of board members at Tesla quietly authorized a $29 billion compensation package for Elon Musk. No performance targets, no delivery goals, no breakthrough technologies required. Just 2 years of showing up, and the largest payday in corporate history is his. To most people, this looks like the jackpot of a lifetime. But to Musk, it's just another Tuesday. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. This isn't about money. Elon Musk doesn't need $29 billion. He already owns Twitter, X, built rockets for fun, and plays God with brain chips. No, this is about control, influence, ensuring that Musk doesn't just lead Tesla, he is Tesla. And yet, the timing couldn't be worse. Tesla's stock is down. EV competition from China is exploding. Lawsuits are piling up. And Elon's personal brand? Let's just say it's not exactly trending upward. So why now? Why would Tesla choose this exact moment amid a legal firestorm and plunging sales to hand Musk a blank check? Well, that's where things start to get interesting. In 2018, Elon Musk was awarded what many called the most ambitious compensation package in corporate history, worth over $56 billion. The terms were simple on paper. If he could hit a series of nearly impossible financial and operational milestones, the reward would be his. And for a while, that deal worked. Tesla stock skyrocketed. Investors got rich. Elon got richer. Everyone applauded the bold vision and the even bolder payout. It became the model for how tech CEOs could be incentivized. Swing for the fences, and you get the entire stadium. But then, something happened. In early 2024, a Delaware judge dropped a legal hammer on the arrangement. The court called it unfair and accused Tesla's board of being, in essence, Musk's personal fan club. The entire package was thrown out, voided. Just like that, the biggest payday in history evaporated. Most CEOs would have been humbled, maybe even humiliated. Not Elon. Instead of accepting the ruling, he did what he always does. Changed the game entirely. He moved Tesla's legal headquarters from Delaware to Texas almost overnight. No press conference, no apology. Just a tweet, a smirk, and a message. If you don't like the rules, find a different arena. In Texas? Well, Texas doesn't mind playing by a different set of rules. On the 4th of August, 2025, Tesla's board approved a new compensation deal for Elon Musk. 96 million stock options, valued at roughly $29 billion. But unlike the 2018 plan, there's no need to hit performance milestones this time. No targets, no revenue benchmarks. Just stay on as Tesla's CEO until 2027, and the deal is his. They're calling it an interim award, meant to retain Musk during what they describe as a critical period of transformation, autonomous vehicles, humanoid robots, artificial intelligence. But let's be honest, if you have to offer a man $29 billion just to keep him interested, maybe the problem isn't his salary. Maybe the problem is you don't actually know who's in charge anymore. This isn't a performance incentive, it's a loyalty bonus. It's a message to Elon. We need you more than you need us. And the optics? They're brutal. While Tesla lays off employees, while sales falter, and while shareholders nervously watch competitors like BYD overtake market share, the company has decided that its biggest problem is how to make sure Elon doesn't walk away. It's not a compensation package. It's a golden shackle one that Tesla put on itself. Here's where it stops being about cars. Because if you zoom out, this $29 billion deal looks less like a reward for past success and more like a strategic maneuver to anchor Elon Musk's empire in place, just as the foundation begins to crack. Tesla is no longer just a car company. It's the financial engine behind nearly every other project Musk touches. Neuralink, SpaceX, Starlink, XAI. Even X, his chaotic experiment with social media and free speech absolutism. They all orbit around the gravitational pull of Tesla's stock. And that stock? It's powered not just by products or profits, but by faith. Faith in Elon. So when a court in Delaware dared question his grip on power, it wasn't just a legal blow, it was a threat to the entire Musk ecosystem. A threat that had to be neutralized quickly and publicly. By pushing this new package through Tesla's newly Texan boardroom, Musk didn't just reclaim his title as the highest paid executive in history. He sent a message to regulators, judges, and shareholders alike. You can't bench the quarterback if he owns the stadium. And the board? They agreed. Not because they had no choice, but because they believed the myth too. The market didn't panic. In fact, Tesla stock ticked up slightly after the announcement. Some called it a vote of confidence. Others said it was relief better to keep Musk on a leash of gold than risk watching him build another empire from scratch somewhere else. But look closer, and that optimism starts to crack. Tesla's share price is still down more than 25% this year. Its once unquestioned dominance in electric vehicles is being challenged not just by legacy automakers, but by lean, aggressive Chinese firms like BYD. Its lineup feels dated. Its pricing strategy is erratic. And the long-promised robo-taxis, Optimus robots, and AI breakthroughs, still living in slide decks and keynote speeches? Meanwhile, Musk has become increasingly polarizing. His posts on X stir controversy daily. He openly attacks journalists, regulators, even his own shareholders. And while some still see him as a visionary, others now see a liability. And yet, here we are. In a moment when the company needs clarity, discipline, and strategic focus, the board has doubled down on the cult of personality. Not because the fundamentals demand it, but because the illusion must be maintained. Because if Elon Musk is no longer the genius at the helm, what does that say about the value of everything built around him? That's the question Wall Street doesn't want to answer. And it's why a $29 billion compensation package, one that should have triggered outrage, was instead framed as necessary for Tesla's future. Necessary, not because it makes sense, but because no one wants to be the first to admit the emperor might be naked. At this point, keeping Elon Musk as CEO isn't just about Tesla's next car or quarterly numbers. It's about holding together a financial and symbolic architecture that runs far beyond electric vehicles. Because whether Wall Street likes to admit it or not, Tesla is the engine that funds and legitimizes every other Musk venture. SpaceX might be privately held, but its valuation is inflated every time Tesla stock surges. Neuralink and xAI gain credibility, not necessarily through results, but through proximity. And then there's X, the black hole of free speech experiments and ad revenue chaos, quietly bankrolled by the equity Elon pulls from his Tesla fortune. In essence, Tesla has become the lighthouse. Everything else Musk builds or breaks reflects its light. It's not just capital he extracts from it, but reputation, legitimacy, the illusion of inevitability. So when the board signs off on a $29 billion loyalty bonus, they're not just buying another 2 years of Elon's leadership. They're underwriting an entire mythos. The idea that as long as Musk stays, the dream stays alive. It's a fragile ecosystem, this empire of hype and hardware. One scandal, one failed launch, one brain implant gone wrong, and the whole structure could start to wobble. But if Tesla remains strong, then the rest can lean on its shadow. And that's the part no one wants to say out loud. Without Tesla, the empire falls. And without Elon, Tesla might actually have to act like a company again. In theory, the board of directors exists to protect the company from its own leadership, to challenge, to question, to say no when it matters. But Tesla's board, it surrendered a long time ago. When the original $56 billion package was struck down by the Delaware court, one of the key findings was that the board wasn't independent. It was loyal, not to shareholders, to Elon. Friends, family, former colleagues, people whose careers and fortunes were deeply tied to Musk's continued success. That's who was in the room when the biggest payday in corporate history was greenlit. And now, in Texas, far from the stricter legal precedents of Delaware, that same room just signed off on another one. There was no revolt, no alternative plans, no competing visions for Tesla's future, just an unspoken understanding. Elon stays, or everything collapses. And the public rationale? Retention. As if Musk were halfway out the door, CV in hand, considering an offer from Ford. As if the world's richest man, owner of 5 companies, and a dozen obsessions might simply abandon Tesla unless gifted $29 billion worth of equity? It's absurd, but it's also revealing. Because when a board acts less like a governing body and more like a fan club, the question isn't whether the CEO is too powerful, it's whether the company still functions as a company at all. There's a pattern in Silicon Valley that's older than most of its startups. A founder rises with a big vision, breaks things, builds an empire, becomes mythologized. Then, at some point, the myth becomes too big to fail. At that moment, it no longer matters whether the founder is right. It only matters that they stay. Elon Musk didn't invent this cycle, but he perfected it. He embodies the archetype investors worship, the eccentric polymath, sleeping on factory floors, tweeting through product launches, making wild promises, and somehow delivering just enough to keep the magic alive. The more chaotic, the more genius he must be, right? And so the cycle tightens. Investors stop asking questions. Boards defer. Employees learn not to challenge, because challenging the genius might spook the market. And no one wants to be the one who breaks the illusion. That's how you get to a $29 billion loyalty payment wrapped not in results, but in reverence. The logic becomes circular. Musk deserves the package because he built Tesla. He must stay at Tesla because only he can build what's next. And if Tesla falters, well, that's just proof that the world didn't deserve him in the first place. But what happens when the myth stops working? When promises stretch too thin? When deadlines slip? When faith turns to fatigue? History suggests that empires built on personality don't collapse all at once. They decay from within, slowly, invisibly, while everyone's still clapping. The fall never starts with a crash. It starts with applause. Applause when the board approves an impossible pay package. Applause when the deadlines move and no one blinks. Applause when a CEO lashes out on social media, undermines regulators, mocks journalists, and everyone calls it authenticity. We've seen this before. The bigger the founder becomes, the harder it is to separate the company from the man, until they are one and the same. Until questioning the CEO feels like questioning the product itself. It happened with Adam Neumann at WeWork, with Elizabeth Holmes at Theranos, with Travis Kalanick at Uber. Different scales, different crimes, but the same echo chamber, the same blind spots. In each case, there were moments, small, clear, uncomfortable moments when someone could have asked a question, pushed back, said no. But no one did, because the vision was too grand, the founder too brilliant, the money too good. And so the machine kept running, until it didn't. With Elon Musk, we may not be at the end of that cycle. Not yet. But if this $29 billion payout proves anything, it's that Tesla has passed a point of no return where the company is no longer structured to challenge its leader, only to amplify him. And when that happens, it's no longer a corporation. It's a cathedral. So what is this $29 billion package, really? It's not a reward, not a contract, not even a strategy. It's a mirror. A mirror held up to a company that no longer knows where the line is between leadership and worship. A mirror to investors who can't afford to question the myth because their portfolios depend on it. A mirror to a board that stopped acting like a board and started acting like a stage crew. And maybe the most telling part is what it says about Musk himself. Because for all his wealth, brilliance, and ambition, this deal doesn't scream confidence. It screams fragility. It's the move of someone who knows how quickly power can shift, how fast admiration can turn, how loyalty has to be bought, not with results, but with narrative. Tesla once represented the future, a radical bet on electrification, a rejection of fossil fuel empires, a rebellion against the automotive establishment. But now, it risks becoming a monument to a man, not a mission. And monuments don't move. They just stand. Tall, imposing, unquestioned, until one day, they don't. Maybe Elon Musk deserves every dollar. Maybe no one else could have taken Tesla from the brink of bankruptcy to the most valuable automaker on Earth. Maybe the chaos is part of the magic. Maybe this isn't a warning sign, it's just how visionary leadership looks when viewed too closely. But if that's true, why does it feel like the company is getting smaller while the man keeps getting bigger? Why does a board need to bribe a billionaire to stay loyal? Why do we keep mistaking charisma for competence? and calling it innovation. This $29 billion award doesn't answer any of those questions. It just raises better ones. So here's one more. When the myth finally fades, will there be a company left behind? Stay curious, stay critical. And if you made it this far, you already know what to do. Subscribe for more.